Good evening, brothers, sisters, and gender norm resistors. It's Friday, which means it's time for another Pirates of the Geek Vortex excursion with me, your host, Ollamh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry, I don't know why. For some reason, my mic has been, really weird lately. It's randomly, picking up something from somewhere. I'm not sure what. I'm not sure if it's, resting up against something that's causing a vibration or what it is. But it's annoying as hell, that's for sure. So yes, we're going to be talking about some weird and wacky stuff tonight. I'm sure we'll get plenty off track and everything like that. So let's go ahead and jump into the chat room here and see who all is about. Hello there.
Hello, hello.
Well, Caden definitely doesn't need any boosting as far as volume tonight.
How's mine sounding?
You're sounding pretty good.
Whose idea was it to write this note in actual handwriting?
That's a good question.
As I was telling Ras, I decided to finally bite the bullet and try 76, and so far...
Not going well?
Well, I've kept it in pacifist. I'm only level 5. I just literally stumbled ass over tea kettle into the overseer's house.
Oh. Okay.
So she's like, what the hell are you even doing here? You are 15 levels under where you're supposed to be. Go back out there.
You're not supposed to be here yet.
But yeah, I just found a note, but they decided to pretend, I don't know, visualize it as its actual handwriting, and I cannot make this shit out half the time.
Oh, fun.
How's your week been?
My week has been interesting, to say the least. Apparently, some company in Germany decided to try and copyright claim my review of Postal. And they are very adamant about it. I appealed, I disputed it. They're like, nope, we don't agree with your dispute. Fuck you. And so I appealed that. And they're like, nope, nope, nope. Okay, guess it's going to be a copyright strike then. So now, basically, YouTube has actually changed that a bit, so that they actually are going. They're actually looking into it themselves and reviewing it themselves, and okay, so how legal is this based on the appeal and all the justification for fair use and stuff like that? So.
Well, I was about to say, what is the company even trying to claim? That they own the copyright?
I think that's what they're trying to say is I think they probably bought the rights to represent and put copyright claims and stuff on it. Which, that in and of itself, it's kind of okay, but, here in the US, we do have a thing called fair use. No. It's no, I use less than 10% of the movie in my review. It's you can't claim that. That's bullshit. But hello there, pretty wolves.
Okay, what is the equivalent in Germany? Granted, I'm guessing they've had to deal with cross-country stuff just because of the EU a lot.
I don't know if there is an equivalent.
I don't know if they have. I don't know if they have any kind of fair use or copyright or anything. But it's no. This is. It's where I'm based and stuff like that. It's no. This we play by American rules here. Thank you.
You are a U.S.-based reviewer. There's That's pretty cut and dry. I mean, I have no doubt that German reviewers have take similar freedoms, probably ones beyond German law, with U.S. media and others.
Yeah. But yeah, at least YouTube has gotten to the point where they're like, okay, maybe we should like actually review this ourselves and see, you know, at least have somebody glance at it and be like, okay, so what is the legality here? I mean, that's a huge step up from what they, yeah, from what they used to do, where it used to just be like, oh, you're gonna put a copyright claim on it, okay. Oh, you want to dispute the copyright claim, okay. Oh, you want to file a DMCA takedown, okay. I mean, once they get a DMCA takedown, they actually have to, by law, say, okay, we are going to take this down unless you file a counterclaim. That's the way the law is actually written, but it's like, you know, at least with their just the copyright claims, the copyright strikes, they're like, no, let's roll it back. Let's take a 7-day pause. We'll take a look at it and decide if this is who we side with, whether this is legal or not. Now, I'm sure if they come back and say, sorry guys, but you know, his review is legal, I'm sure that they probably still have to accept a full DMCA takedown if it's issued. But at least then it's kind of like, you know, it's more along the lines of, okay, so yeah, we're trying to give you a warning that this isn't going to go your way. If you really push for it, you really drive it into the point where it goes to court, you are probably going to lose based on what our lawyers say.
It sounds like it's going to become a game of chicken.
Pretty much, that's usually what it winds up going to. I mean, I've done this before several times, and yeah, it usually winds up coming down to a game of chicken, and it's like, okay, oh, you want to force a DMCA takedown? Well, I'm going to counterclaim. You've got 14 business days to either remove your claim, remove your DMCA takedown, or you have to take my ass to court. And you actually have to show YouTube that, yes, you are filing a lawsuit against me.
Now, it was a German company. The thing was distributed by, okay, Kinostar. I was looking at the damn film. So all I remember about it was Uwe Boll wrote it.
Yeah. But yeah,
okay.
The biggest problem these days is these companies that get somebody that, you know, like an artist says, oh, hey, I want you to represent me. I want you to basically scour the internet, and anytime you find some of my work, claim it. But, you know, they don't, you know, and those companies don't look at things like fair use or anything like that. Like, I've had some that with the Epidemic Sound music, they're like, oh, hey, that's this person's song. We can claim it. We're going to claim it. And it's like, no, they made that for Epidemic Sound, and Epidemic Sound provides a license. Screw off.
I'm reminded there was a game reviewer who they were getting copyright claimed and everything for making reviews of games it was only the negative reviews that got copyright claimed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happens a lot.
So they finally decided, I'm going to just put a bit of copyrighted music in every review, but it's going to be from several different sources, all with different parent companies. Have fun claiming this.
There we go. Now you two are even. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous how bullshit that is. The thing is you know, they can still claim it. Like, various different companies can claim a video and be like, oh, hey, so this part is our music, that part's their music, and a lot of it. Yeah.
Where is this Chinese liberator?
Okay, so it looks like Gamers Grotto just finished up streaming the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game with some friends. I have yet to dip my toe into the horror type games like that. It's kind of tempting, but at the same time, it's like, those games are just. I prefer games where we're kind of like we're working together rather than like one person being more or less an overpowered killer. That's
right.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, and taking like a massive chunk of I think it was a massive chunk of my Tuesday to finally get around to mowing the backyard, my week has been fairly uneventful. Oh, so it's 4-on-4. Well, that's not as bad.
That just makes it fun.
But yeah, oh man, the backyard. I thought the backyard was going to be horrible, but thankfully it wasn't as bad as I thought. I hadn't mowed the backyard in like over a month, and we've been getting, for a while there, it wasn't a big deal because it was like, okay, it's warm, it's hot, it's dry. But then we started getting rain. It's like, oh well, that's it. Now I'm gonna really have to get down to it. So yeah, that's been my week. That and Baldur's Gate 3. Which I am actually really kind of... I kind of love and kind of hate.
I was laughing at your constant correction of drow culture.
Which actually brings us to the topic, the starting topic for tonight, the little known rules that like nobody seems to really use. Like I know in pretty much all of the, any tabletop role-playing game, they all kind of say the same thing. They say, hey, the dice rolls are important and stuff like that, but if it gets to the point where a dice roll, the dice are really against really against the players and stuff like that, to the point where it is taking away their fun, ignore what the dice say and change how things go. Which, of course, you don't get that option. That option is not available for like a computer role-playing game. But I thought about it when I thought about that, though. It was like, a lot of people don't even do anything with that. They're like, no, this is the way the dice are going. This is the way it's going. Period. Boom. We have to go by the dice. It's like, to the point where you hear like horror stories of people that are like, oh yeah, this one encounter just completely, is a complete and total party wipe, and it's like.
Yeah, that was a game of Savage Worlds for my group.
But it's like I said, it's one of those things though that if you look in the game master's guides, just about all of them, I think, all of them that I've ever seen, say, look, if the dice are too hard against your players to the point where nobody's having fun, just ignore what the dice say and change the outcome.
Yeah, this isn't AD&D First Edition Temple of Elemental Evil anymore. I can't believe I had to make that reference.
I don't think I've ever played that one, but...
Oh! The ways you can die include during character creation in some versions of it.
That's like, yeah, with Baldur's Gate 3, there's a lot of ways you can totally fuck up and die.
But that game has save states, or save games.
Yeah.
That's part of the fun, is learning to die in all sorts of different ways.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, at least with that, yeah, like you said, at least with that, it's like, hey, it's not like something that's just permanent. It's not, you're just, hey, you're screwed no matter what type of thing.
Bethesda, I really hate you.
What they do now.
Oh, they decided to make 76 dynamic, so there is no pause. The world does not pause, no matter what you do. So even while you're reloading, dynamic, okay, fine, I can do that. But then when you need to heal and you go into your Pip-Boy, everything's still killing you. But right now I'm having issues because combined with Bethesda, it decided to throw a giant horde at me because I am a higher level. And my objective has glitched into a building that I can't get to, so I can't complete my objective.
Wow, that's just. Yeah, I've always heard that Fallout 76 is a shit show, and it has always been a shit show.
Oh, it is. Like, it's supposed to be social, but nobody actually plays it long enough to be social. Like, I've run into one person in the day and a half I've been playing.
That's sad. Very sad.
Okay, so now this enemy that I am supposed to kill, that glitched into a building that does not have an interior, can shoot me and hurt me, but I cannot shoot it. Great job, Bethesda. And the reason I'm irritated at this is because I can't take back my workbench until I kill this enemy.
Oh no. Oh jeez. I was gonna say, you know, when Ras asked, well, what did they do this time? It's like they made Fallout 76.
All right, so
we can just say it and stop there.
We're gonna see if splash damage works. If I throw a Molotov at the building, does that work? Apparently not.
Set the building on fire. Fuck it all.
How about a frag grenade? Will that work?
I doubt it.
No, it did not.
Because it's in as far as like the way 3D modeling and stuff would work, it would be that outer wall is protecting anything from should be protecting anything from the outside in. Whereas because it wasn't actually it isn't actually a building you can enter, they didn't bother to do anything with the inside. So the physics will allow things to come from the inside out, but not the outside in.
Yeah, I know. And what I hate is that every other bot of this horde, because it's a horde of Chinese communist bots, they glitched out and like appeared closer to my workbench, so I had to run back. This one is just staying in this building. Okay, apparently it decided, hey, we don't want you to continue wasting your time, so I have won the event.
You literally just look, dude, you're still alive, that's great, but this is taking way too effing long.
Pretty much. Oh, I won a golden 10mm. Okay.
Why? I've never understood that. It's like, why? Why are like so many like awesome weapons made of gold? It's like, you guys, that's just no.
Well, thankfully this is just a skin, so it doesn't actually do anything to my 10mm. It just makes it look blingy.
Okay. Now, I will say, I do have to say, at least Ollamh, the Ollamh series, did their ultimate weapon right. Their ultimate weapon is the glass sword, which does massive amounts of damage, but of course, it shatters with the one time that you use it.
Yeah, that's how you do it right.
So it's like, yeah, you do a massive amount of damage, mostly because the sword freaking shatters and they are like rained down. You know, they are hit with all these shards of glass, but you never get to use it again. It's like, okay, that's fair.
Holy crap, the walking cane does 23 damage now?
Did you, like, buff up your strength or something? Like, jeez.
Hold on, what is my special? Because special in this game doesn't work as special in the others. My strength is 4.
That shouldn't be enough to bring up that much damage with a melee weapon. So it's got to be something special about that walking stick.
No, it's just a walking stick. Well, I mean, the baseball bat does 35 now.
Do you have a specialization towards, like, melee weapons?
That's what I was about to say. That no longer exists.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. So, okay, yeah. Well, it was made after Fallout 4, so...
Oh, no. Here's the thing. Like, Fallout 4 still had the perk chart, and I liked that.
It had the perk chart in place of, here's your specials, here's your perks, here's your talents or your your like specialty towards small guns, big guns, etc. Instead, it was like, nope, here's this flow chart. You get 1
They got rid
point
of that
each
too.
level. Well, I mean, I'm glad to hear that they got rid of that, because I personally hated their fucking flow chart. It was stupid.
Don't get too happy.
Oh no,
They got rid of the flow chart and replaced it with cards.
I was gonna say I'm not getting happy. We are still talking about Fallout 76. There is no happy with Fallout 76.
So when I say they replace it with cards, I mean exactly that. Your perks are now collectible cards. You can't even lockpick without taking the lockpick card, which you don't get as a standard. It's completely RNG.
Yeah, that's just... You know, the more and more I hear about it, the more and more it's like, you know what? Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it was for me. I was like, I'm gonna try it, just to be like, hey, I've tried it, and then I'm like, so I have tried it. Not a fan.
I've tried it and I regret it.
Pretty much. Like right now, as I was telling Ras, the camp that they give you 2 camps. So your main camp is whatever workbench you can find, and then other players can attack your camp and take the workbench. And then they give you a mobile camp, which is basically a Vault-Tec backpack, which allows you to build things. But your mobile camp can't overlap your main camp, so you can't just like easily throw it in there.
Yeah.
But I found a dirt racetrack, because we're in West Virginia in this one. Found a dirt racetrack and just cleared out all the cars. And in the very center of it, I just put turrets in a ring. So it's like, defend your camp. I was like, alright, let the turrets do the work.
Yeah. So, Ras, I figured you would probably have something as far as the rarely used rules or hardly ever used rules that for games and stuff.
Well, starting with that fudge the dice when it makes more fun, this is mostly usable when you can do one of 2 things. 1, learn how to really broadly interpret a die roll. And 2, of course, conceal your die rolls. Now, I don't need to explain the second one, but the first one, I had a DM who definitely had fun whenever I would constantly roll either a 1 or a 20, which I seem to do back to back, so I may as well have been flipping a coin. And what effectively this meant was failing so hilariously I succeeded, but with some sort of cost to it.
So kind of like the meme of, you go to push an orc off a cliff and you roll a 1, so instead you just like lightly caress his back.
I love that meme.
Yep.
I would take it a step further and be like, okay, so, you lightly caress his back. He doesn't get mad. He starts to get affectionate towards you.
I was about to say, that's the DM's worst words. It's like you lightly caress him. He's into it.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that did happen to me once, and I was chased by a harem of goblin women. The DM, like me, had watched far too much anime. Other incidents include you fail so badly on your hide check that you've lost track of the rest of the party. Now, this DM, however, knew that I tended to roll either 1 or 20. So I then tree-shaped in the middle of the dungeon.
Which
Now
leads us back to that joke of you successfully wild shape, but you fail your deception checks. So they're like, has that tree always been there? Yes, I've always been there. Well, the tree would know better than us.
That's basically what happened. Is my disguise roll was successful. They think you're a tree. Okay. They walk by you. Okay. They've walked back by you. Roll it again, just because. Okay, 20. One of them says, "Sup, tree." Oh, I'll answer back. Sup. Roll it again. 20. I'm rolling his perception. 1.
Oh, God.
Now, to be fair, this all started with a failure. So regardless of all those, at the end of this thing, the rest of the party comes out and says, "Ha, that shouldn't have worked. Roll me another 20. I got a 1. You forget you're not a tree." So I forget I'm me? No, you know you're you. You just think you're a tree. Okay.
Yep, sounds about right.
Of course there's a sweet roll.
See, I figured to be like, okay, so you're a tree. They walk by. You know what? They're getting ready to set up camp. They're looking for firewood. They decide to chop you down.
My DM knew she didn't even have to do that.
See, I would do something like that just to push the rest of the party to have to come to your rescue, basically.
Well, one of two things would have happened. Either one, I would not be in tree shape and would stupidly start handing them firewood. Two, I would start in tree shape suggesting which branches to use. None of these work well.
No.
But then this is the same campaign where they all said, "Yeah, we're going to get that bastard," when talking about me specifically. I showed up and said, there at the edge of the campfire, and said, "Yeah, I can't stand him either." And all the bad guys look at me.
Oh yeah, that guy, he's a real asshole.
They're all just looking at me like, wait, why is he, what?
When, how, why?
That, I did things like that a lot in that group. I think the DM wanted to strangle me by the end.
I could see that.
Or she wanted to sell t-shirts of me. It was hard to tell.
See, I remember one Shadowrun game where I think I kind of annoyed the DM a bit. mostly because I would roll just enough of a success to pull something off. And it was really things that just should not work.
Like speak a language you've never spoken, sort of should not work, or something else.
Well, no, more like I always planned ahead, so I always wound up getting a little bit of an edge on some of the convincing rolls. Basically, he was good with a sniper rifle, and he was really good with working cons on people. So we had to infiltrate this one corporation. And of course, my character was the one that was like, okay, you know, you're gonna play the role of the guard. And I'm like, okay, cool. We get in there, and some of the other guards are facing off against me and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, so they're kind of questioning who you are. Roll to see if they catch on to you or not. And I succeeded, but he's like, they're still kind of questioning. It's like, I'll just tell them that I'm on the day shift. They never met me, conflicting shifts, stuff like that. I'm just here to clean up some, I drew the short straw to have to come in and safeguard this specific visitor. He's like, okay, roll again. Damn it. He's like, okay, yeah, that works. But on the extraction, once things kind of started going haywire, all the guards still thought I was one of them. So I'm like, okay, well, before I go and start working with the rest of them, I'm gonna duck down this hallway and I'm gonna shoot across the wall towards towards the bend in the hallway that leads downstairs. He's like, okay, but hey, if you want to waste your ammo, go for it. And I'm like, trust me. So finally, once that was taken, did that and everything, we're like, okay, we're to the extraction point. I'm like, all right, once I get the special visitor out, the rest of the team's already popped their invisibility pills that were prepped by our magic user, and they're gone. And he's like, it's just you left. I'm like, yep, that's fine. That's fine. I can handle this. And basically, it was one of those things where it was like, I'm just like, okay, so once he's out, I'm going to turn to him. Look, I saw him run down that hallway. I think they're going for the basement. They're going for the secrets we got down in the basement. We need to go. We need to get there fast. Move, guys, move. And he's just like, he's like, that shouldn't work. It's like, they don't know you. They don't really trust you. It's like, hey, I have succeeded every single time up to here. Plus, there's bullet holes in the hallway leading down to that. And they just finally just like, whatever, fine, yeah, you win. You get it. You do it. Didn't even have to get involved in a firefight. You didn't. They did. And I'm like, that's part of being the con artist. But it was just one of those things where it was like, I always just barely succeeded. So he's like, I could tell that he really wanted to be like, no. This is the one time that your planning and scheming doesn't work. It's like, but the dice agree, it did work.
Like, that's not one of the more ridiculous things. Like, you weren't asking for anything absolutely impossible, just unlikely. And if you're rolling 20s and you're doing it in a way that's convincing in character on top of it, yes, you should absolutely get that. At least that's how I would have ruled it as a DM.
That's how I would roll with it. Also because it makes things utterly hilarious.
Well, yeah. And sometimes hilarious is entertaining. It can break some games. It's not going to work and say, a Vampire the Requiem game or something, but Shadowrun, yes, please.
I think the only thing that would have been more funny is if the party had, like, come across you later and it's like, what are you doing? Nah.
Well, those are always the most fun type of characters for me, is the ones that are just like, oh no, you are just like, I'm totally going to play a con artist, somebody who is going to be able to talk his way out rather than fight his way out.
I just like, go ahead.
Yeah, it's because that just it always requires a bit more planning and a lot more possibility to just absolutely demoralize the game master.
This is why I need to get into a game with you, because that would be hilarious.
You've seen the things I play, though. It started out with the one vampire who runs around with a bunch of werewolves, and then it became the fetch who runs around with a bunch of changelings, the extremely helpful Sith, the rogue who is the town's locksmith. These are my horrible character archetypes. The werewolf who can take every form but the big werewolf form. The goblin raised by halflings.
Didn't you have at one point like a Catholic mind flayer?
That was an NPC, technically.
Isn't that just a mind flayer, though?
It was a Roman Catholic mind flayer insurance agent.
Okay.
Who was, the party was chasing him around. He was meant to be a red herring, but they chased him so much, I was like, okay, I need to give this guy some personality.
They have to get to know the mind flayer.
So they thought that for some reason the mind flayer had blown up this church. But then they find out also, wait, he's the insurance agent for the church? That means he'd have to pay out. What? Why would he bomb it then? Well, he's going back in. We should follow him. They get a look at him. They're watching him. You see him kneel down at one point. They think, okay, he's inspecting a bomb or something. It's like, okay, I've got the thing. We can listen to what he's saying. And they can tell what he's saying, quietly to himself. And the mind flayer, when no one is watching, is praying. And they're like, oh shit, he's actually devout. And then someone else shot the mind flayer.
Congrats, you managed to pull a Hamlet with a mind flayer.
Yes.
I'm going to murder him. Weren't you listening? He's praying. Where's this radio?
So, for the rest of the campaign, my players felt so guilty that they decided they were going to protect this mind flayer, who had found a way, by the way, to survive without eating humanoid brains with their bloody lives.
Well, then he did his job as a Catholic if he made him that guilty.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So, yeah. He wound up getting depowered later to work as a PC that I let someone else run for a few one-shots.
Okay, there are stairs. Where are the stairs? Why am I climbing the roof of this house like I'm gonna just break a window?
But
this is Fallout.
This does get to another rule I've seen most often actually in White Wolf books. They put out a book years ago about playing a Gould mage, and then they put in stuff about Revenant mages, which is born Ghoul, but somehow awakens and becomes a Sphere mage, which is supposed to be extremely rare. And they say very clearly in the rules, this, and this, could potentially happen to 1 in 1 million Revenants or mages. Your player does not get to play that one Revenant or mage. That is an NPC. And it's like, hold on. The NPC should not have the monopoly on all the important stuff. That's fine in MMORPG. to an extent. There's a reason FF14 is doing better than WoW.
Yeah.
But it's like, the players are already supposed to be the exception.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
I mean, I guess they're kind of looking at it and saying, well, it'd make them too powerful or something like that. But yeah, it's like, I mean, if somebody understands, the pluses and minuses and how to play something like that, I don't see a problem with it, honestly.
Right. From a balance perspective, it's actually pretty easy to account for. From a rarity perspective, I say again, they're player characters. That's the point.
Yeah, it's like, why wouldn't they be able to? It's like, okay, I mean, maybe be like, okay, so, at character creation, it's like, okay, we're, try and figure out the odds. And it's like, look, if you can roll within those odds, cool, you got it.
I won't make them roll, but I will tell them, hey, show me how you can make a compelling character out of this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not letting a person. You've seen that I long ago converted Vampire over to D20. And while my rules was, unless the game is all vampires, I'm not going to let some one player have the vampire template. For several reasons. It's less of a balance thing and more of a, one of my PCs can't go out in the sun. This is the ultimate splitting the party.
Yeah. But I with going back to the Baldur's Gate 3, that's one of the things that, I mean, they actually did account for something that people have been that I guess people have been kind of questioning. It's like they have made it so that they've added what they call karmic dice. And basically it's kind of to offset the phenomenon that happens where, you can get basically you can have really, really lucky nights or really, really unlucky nights. Where it's like, hey, you're always rolling somewhere around like 12, 13, 14, 15 range. And that's about it. It's like, that's pretty much what you're hitting almost all the time. I guess at one point some of the players were complaining that it wasn't truly random enough. So they kind of went the iTunes way of figuring out how do we make it just completely random every single time. And then they made it so that, oh hey, you know what? Well, maybe the player needs a little bit of help with the dice and a little bit of a bonus. So we're going to give them karmic dice that will lean a bit more towards 10 or above, 10 to 20. And just because we want to make sure that everybody gets their say, we also are going to give them dice that will reach, that will stay between 1 and 10. But the biggest problem with that people didn't realize until recently is the kind of the weighted dice apply to everybody. So while your attack rolls and stuff like that are going to be better and more likely to be 11 or above, so are all of the enemies.
Yeah.
It's like that's I mean, it's one of those things where it's like I could totally see somebody being like, oh no, I'm just gonna click that on and I'm gonna have all the luck and fuck everybody else. And it's like nope. Caden, I cannot hear what you're saying.
Oh, I'm not saying anything. That was the Mr. Handy trying to sell me a shelter.
Ah, okay. I was wondering. I'm like, I could hear something in the background, and I'm like, is Caden's mic just crapping out on him? What?
No. Which is actually weird, because I actually turned down the TV. Like, I can barely hear it, so the fact that my mic is picking it up...
It's just hitting just the right frequency, I guess.
Apparently. Okay, yeah, that's Vault-Tec in a nutshell.
We hate everybody and everything.
No, found the Appalachian Shelters Claim Center. I was like, what the hell is a shelter? Because you've already got me a camp, and you already got me workbenches, so what the hell is a shelter? Why do we need to add a third thing? A shelter is an expansion to your camp, which allows you to basically make houses and vaults out of your camp. So I have a portable vault.
How do you have a portable vault? No, okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, okay, I can see like having shelters or something that'll expand your base camp, but portable?
Well, see, that's the thing about the camp, is that you can move it for 5 caps. And it can, like, it'll just move to wherever you are, so long as it doesn't overlap an existing structure. Unfortunately, it counts rocks and trees as existing structures. So my current camp is on the side of a mountain at a 45-degree angle.
That's fine. It's good for the calves. You know?
Actually, it's hilarious, because that was a running gag with my family, is that we have a house in our family that for generations people lived in, and it is on the side of a mountain with a about 2-mile long driveway, which is at a 63-degree angle. So it's just like, great, keeping up the family tradition. But anyways, so yeah, the camp will go with you, and when you collapse it and move it, everything that you've built in your camp is transferred over to where you are, so you don't lose any of your inventory or anything. Because we're making this difficult, but we don't want to be assholes.
I don't know.
So apparently the shelter just lets you build actual structures and not just beds and walls and things.
See, I don't know. The whole we don't want to be assholes really doesn't sound like Bethesda to me.
Oh, no. It's Bethesda as in, though, we don't want to be total assholes. I mean, we're assholes and we're making everything annoying, but...
I mean, my experience with Bethesda has always been, oh no, we want to be total assholes.
Well, I mean, everything that I enjoyed about Fallout has pretty much been stripped away. But it's not like it's entirely unplayable, it just doesn't really feel like Fallout. It kind of feels like Valheim.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all, because for me, Fallout 4 felt like it was Skyrim.
Yeah.
It felt like a post-apocalyptic real-world Skyrim. It's like, okay, yeah. I mean, that's one of the biggest feelings for that was again going back to the skill tree and the flow chart of, okay, you have 7 charisma, which means you can come down to here, and you have the level, a high enough level to get this specific perk. It's like, yeah, all right, there's your 1 point. It's like that, but I should have I should be able to get 1 perk. I should be able to like increase my small weapons, my small guns, and all this stuff. It's like that's just
Oh, it is absolute whiplash since I've been playing Fallout 3 for the past 3 days.
Not bad. And I think I am pretty sure that the whole reason that Bethesda is coming up with a space game right now is because of the Outer Worlds.
Probably.
Because well, not Black Isle, but I don't remember. Obsidian. That's right. It's Obsidian now. But Obsidian's like, okay, so you bought Fallout, which we helped create and work on and build up and stuff. You bought it, that's fine. We're taking it to space, and oh, by the way, we're pretty much taking everything about Fallout and putting it into our new game. So, yeah, enjoy being stuck on Earth, fuckers. And then when Bethesda was like, oh, hey, look, we can do Fallout, and we're just going to totally make it our own and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, wait, people aren't, like, super happy about it? And oh. Well, why
I'm currently playing foosball with myself.
That's talent. But yeah, I think basically Bethesda was like, oh yeah, well, we've got Fallout. Fallout's still good, and once they saw what Obsidian was doing, they're like, oh well, fuck you. We're going to space too. God damn it.
Okay, yeah, I'm keeping the Preacher's vestments because now I'm just getting what is it, Brain Dead vibes.
You're getting Brain Dead vibes?
So there's a movie called Dead Alive or Brain Dead.
Oh,
it's a zombie movie. And it's pure camp, pure cheese. But everyone's favorite character is the Kung Fu Priest.
Oh, kick ass for the Lord!
Yeah, like, he just shows up out of nowhere, literally scissor kicks a zombie's head off, and then, like, jumps, and in a heavy Irish accent just slurs out, I kick ass for the Lord! And then proceeds to do just that, like, ripping off another one's arm to use it as a nunchuck.
Okay, that's...
So...
Classic 80s comedy horror.
Yeah, because I have now found a preacher's vestments and I have a shotgun, I'm just gonna run around as a shotgun preacher. The apparel doesn't give me any armor anyways, so screw the baseball uniform. I'm actually...
I have found... I was gonna say, as far as like the clothes not giving armor, I have found out one interesting little factoid about Baldur's Gate 3. Apparently, so you can choose what shows on your character. So you can like load your character up with armor, and then they have their camp attire. So like when you go to your camp, you rest, you're gonna go for a long rest, so it changes to night, evening, everybody puts on their camp attire. You can actually have them basically look like they're wearing their camp attire while you're out adventuring. But you can also take their camp attire away. On a private playthrough for a little bit there, I was basically like walking around the grove with a party of four, completely butt-ass naked.
Which, I mean, I'd probably do it too.
I'm just like, I wonder, can we do this? Does anybody know? Nobody reacts. Nobody seems to care. They're just like, okay. I'm guessing they're seeing the armor, but it's just like, really? You just okay? It's like if I'm going to have my party appear like they're naked, could you at least like have somebody be like, hey, wait a minute. Why is everybody naked?
You're an overseer, and that's your plan. How did you get in charge of a vault?
What was the plan?
The plan is the form of a checklist. The plan is distract him, stash the rest of the supplies, jump in the other crate, pray to God I survive, find anyone from 76, kills Zax.
I mean, as far as the plan goes, it's not horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible.
And I can't take your jumpsuit? Oh, that's what I was about to say. What irritates me is that they're trying to obviously make you go into the fashion and wear something other than your vault suit. Because whereas almost every other piece of clothing I have found weighs anywhere from 0.20 to 0.86 of a pound, your vault suit weighs 1 pound 10 ounces.
That's shitty. It's like, what? But the vault suit's iconic.
Right? I was like, if I'm playing Fallout and you're gonna make me like do all this, and we're supposed to be the group from Vault 76, which is supposed to rebuild America 25 years after a nuclear apocalypse, I want to be in my vault suit.
Yeah.
Also, they introduced the Scorched, and this is just irritating me. We had ghouls, we had all this other shit. Why did we need yet another faction?
Because that is what Bethesda loves more than anything else, is so many factions.
And well, apparently all the Scorched are just... they're intelligent ghouls with some sort of crystalline growths who have started a cult.
Yeah, see that. Why not bring back the what were they, the brights from
Oh yeah, the Bright Followers.
Yeah, I mean,
or even just bring back the Children of Adam at this point.
I'm surprised they don't have the Children of Adam there. Well, wait, that one's 76 is actually set far before. It's actually set significantly before.
Yeah, it's only 25 years after the bombs drop.
So,
oh, also the eating and drinking system pisses me off.
is it mandatory?
Yes, you are constantly basically in hardcore mode. So you are constantly getting hungry. But they also changed all the rads. So like a carrot now has 2 rads. Like blood bug meat is 4 rads. Pepper of all things gives you 2 rads.
See, I would love to have something like Fallout that actually is like realistic as far as, you know, what does and doesn't give you radiation. Like
I kind of get it because yeah, it's 25 years after a nuclear apocalypse. Radiation is kind of everywhere, but to make it mandatory for me to eat and drink, but everything causes radiation, and then you make Radaway one of the most rare things I've found so far.
But see, that's the interesting part, is the radiation. Yeah, it's going to be bad on the top layer of the soil. It doesn't get deep down into the soil. It stays in the top layer. So you could actually realistically like get rid of the top layer of the soil, grow your food that is going to be radiation free.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much anything in a metal container, like their version of Spam. Oh yeah, it'll be perfectly fine to eat.
Oh, speaking of, yeah, they also added the food spoils system.
See, that's just being see, yes, you know, you're kind of contradicting yourself here. You know, you said that they were being like, oh no, they were trying to be like, hey, we're not total dicks.
I didn't say the whole
dicks.
game was them not being total dicks. I said in that situation, they were like, oh, we shouldn't be total dicks. Hell yes, I'm gonna take cranberry moonshine.
cranberry moonshine would be dangerous. Very dangerous. Here's something that's extremely alcoholic and tastes good, too.
Has the world gone to shit? Hey, there's a cat! Cheswick the Second. You're not letting me pet him, and I ain't gonna shoot him. Why'd you even tempt me with the cat?
I think you were probably supposed to shoot.
Well, he didn't attack. I'll shoot all the dogs you want, because those things attack me.
No, see,
The cat's not attacking me.
It's more along the lines of because it suddenly shows up and it's just there. It's like, you know, they're kind of they're expecting the reflex to kick in and you just to open fire.
Oh yeah, I did have an alien invade my camp, like, while I was level 3.
Yeah, the whole Zeta thing is, I don't know. But
Oh, they're not Zetas in this one.
Oh, wait.
They're just West Virginia monsters.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, you can also get, really, a Nuka Quantron? You can also find a, what did they call it? Sheep Squatch.
Sheep Squatch.
Sheep Squatch.
You know, the more you talk about this, the worse it sounds.
Oh, it's horrible, and the only reason I keep playing is because I have a weakness for games where I can build things. Which is why I play Valheim so much.
Come back to FF14. I have a guild of Omnicrafters.
I don't have the money.
Make a new free account, play the level 60. Done. You will still be building all the things.
Oh, hey, there's somebody else's camp. I am not going to fuck with your camp. 'Cause I'm not a dick.
And thus, you will never succeed in the game.
Okay, let me amend that statement. You know I'm a dick, but you know that I'm not going to go out of my way to be a dick.
I was kind of giving you the benefit of the doubt there, being like, okay, you know, he says he's not a dick. Maybe he's just not going to be a dick in this.
Well, it's like, if I just come across his camp, I'm just be like, okay, he's there. That's cool. And if that's it, like, they're just there, and they don't bother me, I'm not going to bother you. Now, if he had been there and he tried to shoot me, even though I'm on pacifist mode and he can't hurt me, then I'd be a dick. What? Those are level 1 objectives. I've already done all that.
There is one interesting feature of Baldur's Gate 3 that I want to try out sometime.
Mm-hmm.
And that is you can actually do multiplayer with it. So
See, I would love to do that, but that would require me somehow getting a copy of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, it's not a cheap game.
Yeah, I know. See, that's what I was going to do with 76 as well. I was like, even if it's shitty, it'd be fun to play around with everybody, but it's not cross-platform.
You know, I don't get that. I really don't get that whole, you know, no, we're not going to make our game, you know, we're not going to allow cross-platforms. Why not?
That was what was going to stop FF14 from being on Xbox for the longest time. Apparently, it will be coming to Xbox, and with the understanding that, yep, they're joining the broader FF community. There were screams on both sides of that. But Yoshi P apparently was adamant. If you're going to get new players, they need to be able to talk to our old vets.
Yeah.
I am going to pick up my camp because I am tired of having it on the side of a mountain.
Like, come on, isn't that like one of the few nice features of West Virginia?
Okay, well, I just have the camp now. I don't have anything else like built here, so I don't need to worry about that. Actually, the hilarious thing is, I think I was telling you the last time, or I said it in chat. It got surreal while I was running around in Fallout 3, and it told me to go through the metro, and I managed to do it without looking at the map, just because I've done that run so many times on the actual trains in real life. I didn't need to think about where I was going.
Yeah, that's one of those points where it's like, okay, you know, they actually like did it. They actually did all that right. That's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
So like, at some points during this, I'm running around. I'm like, you know what? I only went to one town in West Virginia, so I'm not like well versed with the state. But every now and then I'll look up and be like, oh wait, this looks familiar. Yes, please come down the mountain so I can shoot you.
See, eventually we'll need to get. We should try to get everybody Valheim.
That would be fun.
Do you imagine the all four of us in Valheim?
The chaos.
Yes.
You would have you and me trying to be logical, building like actual structures, defenses, and things. I imagine Ras would go for something dramatic for no reason.
Of course, or hilarious.
I don't know what gamers would end up doing.
That's a good question. Oh, okay. Well, Valheim's not too bad as far as price-wise.
Yeah, it's actually not. I think the hardest part of Valheim is just if you don't know generally, like that type of game and what you're doing, it's kind of hard to get started.
Yeah.
Because it really does just literally throw you naked in a field and was like, hey, survive.
Yeah, I mean, you do get the little birds popping in and being like, oh hey,
Hugin.
If
you turn Hugin on.
Well, I mean, you actually have to turn him off to avoid it. So it's like, you know, he is on by default. So it's like, hey, come over here. I've got some info for you.
Holy crap! It's a feral ghoul that actually gave me a run for my money. Didn't do a lot of damage, but he could dodge.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Just fucking around with that.
It really was, and we should do that more often.
Maybe we'll look at setting aside like a special night for doing that.
Yeah, that would make sense. Wow, okay, so the feral ghoul didn't wake up. So I shot him anyways, and then his inventory just disappeared. Okay!
But that's just rude.
I'm sorry, did you actually want to destroy this ghoul that was about to pop up and kill you? No, we can't have that.
You don't want to really hurt him.
But Also, here's a great thing. Bethesda just fucked up the timeline, actually, if I think about it. Because this is 25 years after the vault, or after the war. So, like, that's when the first vault opens, supposedly.
Yeah.
I've already run into super mutants.
Well, now, okay, that's one of those. Yeah. I mean, the FEV was created during the war.
Yeah, but I don't think super mutants were released and running around as a pack until after the Master was destroyed.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. That's kind of one of those questions of was it really exclusive just to the West Coast, or were they kind of like, oh hey, okay, well, you guys are working on this strand, we're gonna have somebody else working on a slightly different strand. So, well, not to mention, it's West Virginia. Come on, it's a dumping ground. Well,
Actually, I like the fact that before I realized I was in West Virginia, I had the guitar, and I was like, oh, yay, guitar. Then I saw a banjo, I was like, why the fuck is there a banjo? They're like, you're in West Virginia. I was like, oh, of course. I want a Fallout that is set in Texas.
I don't know how that. I don't know how that would go.
I know apparently it's at least fandom, but apparently there is territory. Like, it's tribal territory, and Caesar's Legion was trying to take it over for a while. But it's like, what kind of vaults would you put in Texas?
Well, I mean, okay, there's probably one that's that's going to have, fairly constant power outages and stuff.
Yeah, the Texas power grid would be a great addition to Fallout lore.
You think?
Actually, hilariously enough, that would be the best thing. Would be if the entire country's power grid went down, except for Texas. Why didn't you guys get blackouts? Because we're not on your grid.
Yeah, but even when everybody else is doing fine, they can barely keep their shit together.
Well, yeah, but if everyone else is dead, that gives them time to, upgrade.
They're not gonna upgrade. You're saying this like, oh yeah, they can upgrade it. Well, yeah, they could upgrade it now, but they're not fucking doing it. They're basically looking at it saying, it's good enough.
What the hell did I just discover? This is not a player camp. I just ran under a power pylon, and there's like a rock with a bit of a white fence. Fucking rad roaches. Bit of a white fence, a mailbox, sofa, television, lamp, typewriter with desk, and a door. There's no walls, there's no house, just a door.
The house is just is all part of your imagination. See, it's.
No, I already came across the drug lab. Also, I think 76 is a disappointment as a vault because of its lore. It is the weakest vault lore I have heard so far.
Like, what is it?
76 was intentionally designed to be open 25 years after the war. And the residents were chosen because they were the best and the brightest in their fields. And so were the children. So, like, everybody here's a genius, everybody has a skill, like mechanical engineering, whatever. But specifically, it had to be mechanical engineering, military, science, something practical. So there's no artists, there's no musicians. And they were a control vault, supposedly. But the catch was, after it opened, it was rigged so that when the door opened, exactly 24 hours after the door opened, all power and life support would fail. So that the residents had to go out and reclaim the world as they... Oh, hey, talking about super mutants. Reclaim the world as they are told. And the Overseer's secret objective was to find the 3 nuclear silos in Appalachia and claim them for Vault-Tec, so that only Vault-Tec can use them.
But, yeah, that doesn't...
Weakest lore I've heard.
So much of that's just like, wait, but that does... Huh? Like, you can't have a control vault that is also scheduled, that is also, like, part of the experiment.
Well, I was like, okay, so control vault as in, like, there is no dangerous thing. They're like, oh, well.
But there is.
You know.
It's something that they that was actually in the original Fallout was, you know, you're forced out before it's likely to be all clear.
Well, yeah. But I'm saying, like, when you read the records, they're like, no, there's no experiments, there's no fucking with the vault. This vault is well stocked, we have the guns, we have all this, but the security has to turn in all lethal weapons when the vault closes. And they can only use non-lethal. And their primary objective is specifically to insult bot. But it's specifically to make sure there is no loss of life or limb to the vault dwellers.
Yeah, Bethesda just... Man, when Bethesda took over Fallout, they really just kind of decided,
I know.
Hey, we're... Yeah, they kind of went just apeshit with it.
I found myself, and like I rarely use language like this, but like I found myself reading the Overseer's terminal, and she's like, "We cannot let anything happen to these children. We must make sure that all rounds are non-lethal. We will only punish them if absolutely necessary." Blah blah. I was like, "This is a vault of fucking snowflakes, is what this is." They're gonna get out into the world and be like, "Hey, I am owed the world, but also, how do I open a can?"
Well, I mean, mechanical engineers No, it's like with Fallout 3 and the fact that there's fucking jet all over the place. It's like that huh? I'm pretty sure that the Brotherhood of Steel did not bring jet from the fucking West Coast.
Yeah, I was laughing at that because it was like, oh, hey, if I ever need to get money, there's jet everywhere. I can just sell the drugs. And that's pretty much what I ended up doing, is I just constantly sell drugs.
So basically, you're a post-apocalyptic drug dealer.
No, because I only sell them to Moira, and I think that she owes me, considering that I had to run around making her fucking survival guide.
I think it didn't have to.
Oh, Moira.
The only person from Megaton that will survive the explosion.
Yeah, I briefly considered letting Megaton burn. But then I was like, you know what? I don't feel like it, so I actually just killed that guy and disarmed the bomb. I even let the Church of Adam continue their crazy rants.
See, there was one point where there was one playthrough that I was doing where, like, I don't remember why, but like everybody in Megaton just like fucking hated my guts. So I'm like, you know what, guys? Fuck y'all. Boom.
Oh no, they all did hate me because I found out in Fallout 3, it is incredibly hard to be good, but it's incredibly easy to be evil. I've been the Scourge of the Wasteland for most of my Fallout 3 playthrough.
That sounds about right.
Well, it's mostly because at this point, I'm the jaded Fallout player. So if someone annoys me, I tend to just shoot them in the head. Which, understandably, not everybody is considered a bad person, so I do tend to lose karma.
Yeah, it's like, they started it. Kind of like with that kid in Baldur's Gate 3 that was like, what, did you just come to stare at my forehead? You brought it up, so now I've got to stare at your forehead. I
was so glad I could do that when I started the story in Fallout 3, when Butch started shit, and I was like, please tell me I can punch him in the face.
Now, how much of an evil bastard were you, though?
As far as what?
Well, you know, there's the whole, you know, Butch is an asshole, punch him in the face. But then later, when you're escaping, he will run up to you and be like, hey, hey, hey.
Oh, no, I did save his mom.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm like, how much of an asshole were you? Because...
No, I was like, okay, Butch, I will gladly shoot in the face as soon as I get a gun. But his mom has not done anything to me.
What, I mean, besides raising an evil bastard. But...
Yeah, but then you get into Rivet City and you find the other one who raised the bastard, and I was like, technically.
But yeah, I have blown up Megaton once, and yeah, like, Moira survives. She just turns into a ghoul. I don't get that. It's another one of those things where it's like, wait a second, what?
Well, because they have to have someone survive, and she's the only vendor in town.
Well, she's the only person that can make a lot of really cool stuff. So it's like, well, you know, what if you're on the wasteland, you know, the wasteland, the guide to the wasteland.
Hey, Tigart water treatment. I know this place.
But yeah, it's like,
Of course it requires a terminal.
With Moira, it's like, oh, okay. She's like, so do you know if, oh, so this is what happens when you, it's like, wait a second, but you were like at ground zero for the explosion. It's like, it's not just radiation. It's, you know, you have some, you have to deal with the radiation, but you also have to deal with a fucking explosion.
And shrapnel heat.
Yeah, it's like the heat from the explosion alone should have, like, cooked you. Long before the radiation could change you.
Okay, so I gotta ask, which theme did you choose for your house?
Ooh. I'm trying to remember, because it's like, I've for Fallout 3, I think I generally went with the Raider theme.
I'll admit, I went with the Love Machine. I saw that lamp in Dukoff's place, and I was like, I need that lamp.
So basically, you just went with the swingers bad.
I didn't even care that it gave me the bed or anything. I was like, nope, I get the sex lamp. That's what I want. Okay, you know what else this 76 reminds me of? Is Atomic Heart. And that's weird, considering it came out before Atomic Heart.
I think Atomic Heart just kind of, like, stole a lot of stuff from a lot of things.
Yeah, but I have more fun when a robot gets annoying and, like, flies at me in Atomic Heart. Oh yeah, and the fast travel system uses caps now.
Who the fuck are you paying?
Yeah. Pretty much everything is paid.
Now,
My
look,
question was, who am I paying?
yeah, exactly. It's like, who the fuck are you paying? There's a fucking post-apocalyptic Uber?
Some guy just shows up on a Brahmin.
Yeah, all right, where are we going? I don't know. It kind of sounds like the stagecoaches from Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, hunker down. It's a long ride.
And see, the thing I hate most about the way they've redone the skill system is that I can't pass any charisma checks or strength checks or anything because I don't have the card that goes with that.
You just gotta hunt that card up.
Well, like I said, lockpick, if you have lockpick skill level 0, okay, you can pick a lock. But the moment it goes up to lockpick 1, you need a card.
And real quick, I'm going to switch machines. 1 sec.
All right.
Top of the world radio signal.
Yeah, the more and more you talk about this game, the less and less, the more and more I'm glad that I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass.
It's another one of those, like, if we're playing it individually, it is annoying as hell, but I have a feeling that we would somehow make it fun if we were to create a group.
Well, I could see that, because then it's just, who's fucking up worse?
Wait, you're specifically calling Rangers? You didn't even exist until 2 seconds ago.
Don't you love that? It's just like, when you walk up on somebody, it's just like they just pop out of the ether.
Yeah, pretty much. I was just fighting enemies and got to the last one, and then suddenly, right in front of me, another one pops up jumping at me. I was like, you did not exist. Stop it. Go back where you belong. Top of the world in Pleasant Valley.
I think we might have to call. I might have to call this one an early night.
Yeah, we seem to be very distracted tonight.
I am just like suddenly just like, oh nope, I am tired. Which is weird, because it's not like I stayed up fairly late last night, but it's like I got a good solid 8 hours of sleep. But it's just like suddenly hitting me, just like boom. I'm just like, oh, you know what?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I'm kind of getting tired myself, but I haven't been sleeping for about 3 weeks, so...
I was muted after I switched from computer to phone.
Yeah,
I was just saying for a second there that all the hilariousness of us in the group makes me want to run an RPG of us even more.
I mean, I would.
So I had the...
Yeah.
A diseased super mutant. What are you even doing here?
I did also have the thought of, hang on, we all know how each other thinks. maybe we need someone from outside the group to DM us, assuming that person isn't as demented.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. It's like we've been talking about doing the, D&D tabletop, whatever, like just doing a group. I was like, but we know each other so well.
That there's no surprises, really.
Yeah.
I think the surprises would be, okay, so we know each other and we know how we think and, what we're likely to do. The surprises come with, how do we counter each other?
Yeah.
Well, it also depends on... System is, of course, an obvious thing as far as the variables go, but then there's settings. Like, we still haven't decided, is this going to be fantasy, modern day, RPG, let's say cyberpunk.
Yeah. Well, like the campaign that I've
been...
been working on, every time I start trying to like go through the villain and the motivations and everything, I just find myself sitting here going, what would Ollamh do?
You see, I asked myself what kind of setting would be best, and I came up with an answer, and it made me want to smack myself in the head.
Oh no.
A Red Dwarf-like setting. Look at the screen.
Yeah. I
The four of us, yeah.
Yeah, but who would be which though? That's the real question.
Well, I can DM very simply, because look at where I'm at the screen. I'm the computer. I'm the Holly.
Yeah.
At whichever version we need. What's happening, dudes?
See, I'm just looking at I think there would be a contest for as to who would be Lister, honestly.
I mean, we need a Lister, a Rimmer, and either a Cat or a Crichton. Probably. Well, hold on. Or in one season they had Kachansky.
Yeah.
2 seasons, actually. And I'm not even counting the Dave TV stuff yet. Which was basically a return to classic dwarf, but I digress.
Yeah. I don't know. A red dwarf style RPG would be interesting, to say the least.
Now,
You realize we can never do a Star Trek style RPG.
Oh no. Oh no.
Diplomacy? The fuck is diplomacy?
Well, that depends. That depends on if we is it one of those situations where we would have to, would we be part of Starfleet, or would we be more like a Harry Mudd style crew?
Oh, we would definitely be a Mutt crew.
Oh, I have yet another idea, and you'll all hate it, and yet love it. How would you feel about an Obsidian Order campaign?
Oh.
Wow, that's one uncomfortable silence.
Yeah.
I can do horrible things. Or I can do gray things. Be like a Gareth campaign.
But see, it always comes down to the same thing when I think of campaigns like this. Is that you have to remove either me or Ollamh from the equation somehow.
Why
Because
that?
otherwise, shit is going to get horrible.
Okay, easy solution. Sabat Pack vampire game.
Well, what I mean is, like, we've discussed it before. If you get him and I against each other, you and gamers become collateral damage. We will not give a shit.
Sabat game, definitely.
Yeah,
For two
but...
reasons.
Oh god,
One, it's
that's a
Sabat.
Deathclaw.
I
Oh, of course it's a
expect
Deathclaw
everyone to
now I'm
die
crippled.
horribly. Oh boy.
But then if you get us working together, you become less than collateral damage.
Well, I don't know
Okay,
about that.
One, everyone's expected to die in a Sabat game. Have you been to a Sabat game?
No.
Oh. This shall be glorious. It will also require a lot of warnings on the podcast if we do this live. No. You don't know how horrible and vile Sabat can get. We're not talking fatal levels, but it's bad. This is a sect of vampires that prides itself on being as inhuman as possible. Because humans are animals, and who wants to be lunch?
That is fair.
You can literally get dogpiled in the Sabat for being too nice.
But see, the Sabat would have a problem with me because I would appear to be too nice while secretly plotting all of their demises.
Yeah, but you see, you don't
Zimmer
want to
Shake.
be too nice.
No, they're going to know you'd be playing Zimishay, totally.
See, if you
You don't understand. Shall I explain?
go ahead.
Zimishay are basically the Carpathian hospitality vampires. Oh, sweet guest, thank you for coming. Oh, don't mind the screaming in the basement.
No, it wouldn't even be that. I'm very much the... If you come to me as like, I want an alliance, yeah, I'll humor it. We'll make an alliance. I'm gonna ultimately murder you once I get what I want, though.
See, that's why I was saying it's like, you know, you say you'd pretend to be nice, too nice, but you actually don't want to pretend to be too nice. Because if you pretend to be too nice, they're going to kill you before you can finish your plan.
And there's also several different alien philosophies. You have to drop your humanity down to 0 on the usual 10-point humanity scale to jump train to one of these, which include things like the Path of Night, the Path of the Beast, Path of Metamorphosis, Path of Revelations, Path of Cain, Path of Cathari. Oh, that one gets fucked up.
Why do you even exist here? This is not a
To give you an
Deathclaw's
idea-
natural environment.
To give you an idea of Path of Cain, it is a sin on Path of Cain to try having a conversation, a normal conversation, with a human. Because Cain wasn't allowed to have conversations with normal humans, so why should you get to? That's the kind of fucked up. It is an act of utter debasement if you are on the Path of Night to say, I'm sorry. The equivalent of a human committing genocide.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is an act of...
I don't know if that would be something that would work too well as far as like a live stream or video or something like that.
It would
Fair.
work, I think, as a pre-recorded, but definitely not as a live stream.
There are also games where everyone is on a specific path or follows a specific thing. I've been in an all Tremere game. I do not recommend that. An all Asimite, i.e. Banu Hakim game. That works better than you would think.
Just so long as we don't try an all Malakavian campaign.
I could make that one work. I've been planning that one.
See, y'all making plots and plans.
Look, an all Malacavian campaign would be perfect for us because the entire campaign would just be us trying to out nuts each other.
Or make it all work. The Malkavian Madness Network is a thing.
This is true. We are also the group that if we ever went into a Warhammer game, please do not let all of us play orcs.
Why not? We can't be any worse than the entire group in the novel Inquisition, later renamed Draco.
You know, I gotta say,
I.e. the most... Go ahead.
I just had a thought. It's like, okay, so what if we played something like, say, Dungeons and Dragons? Fine.
Okay.
But we play a band of orcs, or a band of goblins, or whatever. But basically, we're playing the bad guys.
We could totally do that.
I think that would fit
All right.
our group much better than being a band of heroes.
So I think what we can do is if we decide we want to pull the trigger on that, I'm still going to work on my campaign because I got a group and a Discord for it, so,
Right.
you know, I'm not going to abandon that. But if you guys want to join that, we can do that. And then, like, we can let Rasslin work on the, hey, let's be bad guys.
There's so many flavors of that. Olive, come here. Outside in my backyard with my dog.
Oh, by the way, I came to you for advice the other day, Ras.
Yes.
And I was like, hey, do I want to make them go to level 1? Because, like, I really want them to start level 1. So I said, hey, I'm thinking of making this a level 1 campaign, so just make all your character sheets at level 1, and we can adjust as needed. Well, then one of my players is like, can we start out at, like, level 3? I was like, I'll think about it, but I really want you to make your character sheet starting at level 1 so that we can adjust this as we need to. He's like, okay. Turns in his character sheet, his character's level 5 with 3 feats.
Is there a way to make him negative level 5? If not, there ought to be.
Yeah, he's like, I want to be he's not even he was a paladin last time. I think this time he wants to be a knight.
You may see a slight disconnect on my end for just a second. I'm walking away from my house, taking a brief stroll, but yeah, it's like your DM gave you a specific guideline. Come on.
Yeah, that's kind of a that's a super shady move.
Well, see, yeah, I've known the guy for years. I don't know his exact story, so I try not to judge. But he has a habit of doing that. He'll be like, well, I understand that we're doing this, but, like, hey, let me do this and it'll be fine. And then he ends up, like, with this character that seems to be normal at first, and then you realize he's actually super OP because of the way he's modded him.
Yeah.
Like, he was asking about a recent 5e background, apparently, that if you don't choose a background with a feat, it allows you to take a feat that lets you cast from other classes spells. So he's like,
The Acolyte.
hmm?
The Acolyte is one of those. There's one for the Divine and there's one for the Arcane.
I think this was, it's Magic Initiate. So it's like he wanted to play a paladin or a knight, but then he could cast bard spells. And I was like, oh no, I see where you're going with this.
So Divine spells, Arcane spells, even if minimal.
I figure what his probable plan was, like, I'm not going to say this is his plan, but just if I were doing this, and you were making a knight or a paladin with high defense, and then you can take the Magic Initiate and cast any class's spells, what's to stop you from taking Vicious Mockery, and then just, not being able to get killed?
Yeah, but you'd have all your offensive bases covered. Ah.
Okay, I think that's probably where we're gonna end for tonight. I am just seriously starting to fall asleep here.
Yeah, I think we're all lagging.
All right. Okay.
So, you guys want to say your good nights?
I hope everybody had fun, and good night, and see you next Friday.
The Edge will not be on August 19th. We hope you tune in August 26th, and we'll see you again on Pirates of the Geek Vortex.
All right. Oh, hey, I just realized next Friday is the last Friday of the month, so it'll be game night too.
Okay, well, do we have a game that we want to amp up for?
I don't know.
Maybe we should decide that this week.
Yeah, well, we'll decide that over the course of the next week, because, yeah, right now is not a good time to try and discuss much.
Fair.
All right.
Fair.
Well, as always, guys, thank you for being here, and I'll go ahead and do my outro now.
All right, have fun.
All right.
As always, thank you guys very much for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to the like button. If you're new here, don't forget to press the subscribe button. If you want to help us out, make sure to share it around, let people know about it. If you want to help us out directly, there are several options down below, like the Patreon page, the Ko-Fi page, and the merch page. If you want to be kept up to date of when we go live or upload any videos or anything like that, make sure to ring the bell, but also check out the social media links down below. The Facebook page, the Twitter account, the Tumblr account, and the permanent invite for the Discord server. All that so that you can stay tuned for more from Ollamh Productions. Cheerio!